to the club. Today, it's just us. We're your hosts. I'm Akilah Friend.
And I'm Eboné Chapman.
And y'all, I don't know if you really can notice it from this, but like we changed up the setup a little bit. So
I don't know. I don't think they can tell.
They can't really tell.
Yeah, I think this is just going to be for us more when we edit.
I'm
it's
just so
be easier.
I'm like, guys, we changed up the setup, but it literally looks like the same wall behind us.
Yeah.
But we moved things around out here.
We gave ourselves more space.
More space, even though it doesn't look like it. But
we'll have to crop ourselves later.
Definitely did. And y'all, if you've been following along on our socials, and obviously we hope you have at the Black Creators Club, you'd know we recently got featured in ShoutOut LA.
Woo!
Yes, and ShoutOut LA for our work building our digital brand in ShoutOut LA.
Right.
You know, just it was really great to just be recognized for building not only our digital show, but our media brand as well. And so with our first year nearly in the books, we literally would make a year officially. We count August 10th, the debut of our first episode, as that 1 year. So
we're so excited. It's creeping up. It's literally creeping up.
Yes.
I can't believe we made a year.
I can't believe it either. It's crazy to think about. It's been a wild year. We made a COVID year.
Right, really did.
Pretty much. And so we just thought it would be fun to just go down memory lane. And so this episode is going to be all about us talking about the building of the podcast, the building of the show, and the building of the brand. So if you're into that kind of stuff, if you want to just know more of the behind the scenes of what we've been able to do,
here it is.
Here it is.
It's for you. It's for you.
Yeah. So let's start from the very beginning. Like, what were you doing around this time last year? Like, this is July. Like, so end of July last year. When it comes to the Black Creators Club, probably other things too. Like, what were you up to?
Yeah, what was I up to? I was still doing a lot of like things for AfterBuzz TV. I know we mention them all the time.
Yes.
You gotta give props where props are due.
Totally.
So I think I was still doing like writing and doing short clip video news updates for AfterBuzz TV, and then I think we were low key already in the talks of starting the podcast and the show and getting all the domains and trying to like prepare what we're going to talk about, what we're going to do. I think that was kind of what we were doing.
I think even before that, because I remember some of those conversations happened while I was still on the East Coast. And so I was on the East Coast for, once COVID hit, I was like, okay, I think I can do this in LA. And then after a while, I was like, you know what, let's pack it up. Let's go back home for a while. And so I was there for a couple of months. And then I remember, before I even left, we were starting to have those conversations due to, AfterBuzz TV, our connections and all that kind of stuff. Having the preliminary discussions of, okay, the Black Creators Club, if this becomes a thing, what would it look like? What would it do? Like, what do we want to do? And so we had those conversations. But then around July, I think we might have to look, but I think our social medias was already, the handles were created for sure. The ideas were definitely fleshed out, and we were starting to really think through, okay, we're gonna start recording once I get back. And so that's exactly what happened. And so this time we were thinking through, I don't think we did it even where we had a full let's say like a timetable of like, oh, this week we're talking about this, next week we're talking about this.
Everything was literally on the fly.
On the fly.
Everything was literally like week by week.
Week by week, day by day.
Literally.
And just figuring that part out. So the end of July, yes, it was more so like, okay, we're really finally going to do this. We're getting it out there. We also, shout out to my friend who was able to create the graphics for us, like, so our cute little icons, we got that set up.
Yes. Oh my god,
that was a whole thing. I'll put her link so you could check her out if you're into graphic design or want some sort of graphic design too. I think it'll be good to just plug her there too. So yeah, but even before then, we set up a photo shoot. So, you remember we had
we had my friend.
Yes.
We were like, we need photos to post. We need something, blah, blah, blah. So, I had my friend Desiree. Shout out to Desiree. I've known her since high school, and she's actually in school to be a dentist. So, nothing even close to photo at all. But she was so amazing and willing to help. And so, she just came and just, took photos of us all day.
Literally, it was multiple. First of all, so Eb came at my house around the morning. Well, Eb and Desiree came in the morning, and so literally we had change of clothes. I think we had three outfits maybe.
Yeah.
3 fits, her camera, and we literally just stepped outside and took pictures.
Yeah,
walked around a block or two, took pictures.
Yeah, we were in heels. We weren't going too far.
Yes, exactly.
We weren't going too far. But yeah, oh my gosh.
That happened too.
Time to be alive.
Literally, so that happened. Then we picked our best photos, and literally the photo is what is now the animated version. So it wasn't anything that we kind of created off from nothing. So the fits were everything. And even then it was literally a sign of just trusting ourselves. Because I think at first we were trying to create different things and like, what if we wore this? What if we this color, that color? And then we looked at our picture and we're like, this is the photo that we actually should do. Like, this is
Which is how all of our creative processes go.
Every time.
Like, here's the idea, and then we'll go off like on 5 different tangents to come back to the same original idea
that we need to just first answer is always right.
Always follow your gut.
Yes, period. So that was around this time. And so the next thing is like, well, how do we even get to the point where we're starting our own digital show? We shared the story a little bit, and like I said, it's in ShoutOut LA, that article, but from your perspective, like, how do we even get to the point where we're like, oh wow, we're doing a digital show, we're going to call it the Black Creators Club?
Yeah, well, I mean, everything, again, AfterBuzz TV.
Yes.
Kevin Undergaro, he just came with the idea to say, hey, like, let's do this. And originally it was going to be on Black Hollywood Live, which is like their other like medium show that they have. Like, it was another avenue. AfterBuzz TV, they have the Popcorn Talk, like, they have a few different things going on. So it was going to be on Black Hollywood Live. And then COVID and a few other things happened, so it kind of just got stalled. So he was like, okay, like, you guys should just run with it. Like, you guys should just still do it on your own. And at the time, I don't think either one of us even actually knew what that meant. We were like, okay, great. Like, he was like, get all your domains. Make sure you guys have everything. So we were like, okay, cool. So we got the YouTube, the Instagram, the Twitters, the everything. And once we had it all, we were like, okay, cool, we're going to start. Yeah. And we've been obviously doing AfterBuzz TV, so we know you come into the studio, the format, the cold opens, all of the format and how you do it, right?
Yes.
So I think we were just thinking, yeah, we'll do that. And they put it on YouTube. They have it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Like, cool.
Let's just do this.
That was that.
That was it.
And I was not thinking any more, any less of it. I wasn't scared or...
We weren't thinking, oh, we're going to be producing. We're going to be, social media, all the things.
We did not think about any of that.
And I'm glad we didn't, because who knows, we may have thought twice about even...
Or three times
about even getting started. And even before then, like, so within the whole AfterBuzz frame, like, we were always cool within AfterBuzz. Like, it was something that we did, like, after work, or sometimes, folks who had hours during the day would come in and do those episodes then. But after work, we'd see each other, we'd hang out all the time, or just at least kiki multiple times throughout the night or throughout the week. And so then when the idea came to be, it was more so like, all right, you're thinking, who do you want to do this with? And I think that's why you see our chemistry is always so great, because I think it was super organic.
It was super organic. I tell her the story all the time. Like, when I started AfterBuzz, she had like short blonde curly hair, and I was like, oh my god, like, and it was like short, like, it was so cute, and I was like, oh my god. And she dresses cute every day. I was like, oh my god, she's so cute. And when we would talk, her personality was just like fun, like, it was just super energetic, like, I just felt the vibe. So I was like, I don't know what I need to do, but I like need to be her friend. I don't know what happens, but I need to be her friend. So it just happened to be that, like, every time we would go in, we would see each other. So we'd see each other before our shows, and we had the exact same 2 hours.
Yes.
And then after the show would be done and go home. And so after the show we would even talk. So it just organically happened that way. And then we found out we were sorority sisters. That just solidified it. We exchanged numbers, and it had been just kind of like a really cool relationship until this opportunity came out. Then it was like, hey girl, like, do you want to do this with me? And she was like, yeah. This was like, I was like, bet. So then ever since then, like, we've been so close.
Literally,
like, we just get closer every day.
Right.
Well, we don't have a choice. So we talk every day because
it's so funny.
We love it.
At the very beginning, because she was like, and I think if you watch and listen to the episode, you recognize Ev's personality too, because I remember this at the very beginning. You're like, hey, we're really going to be best friends.
Did I say that?
You did. You were like,
I probably did say that.
We're literally going to be best friends, so just save my number. Or, like, not even save my number, so just, like, just put me on your favorites or whatever else. When we started the thing, and I was cracking up, and I was like, okay, sure. Yeah, sure. And
are we not?
Yeah.
We literally talk every single day. And half the time, like, some of it is, like, business stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, majority of our texts, I think, are business. But when we're together, the reason why our meetings are so long is we're talking about so many other things. So many other personal stuff, too.
So many.
It's a true friendship. It's not just business.
It's not just business. Exactly. And I think that's what's going to make it work on the long term, because this is we are on the climb right now. It's totally a grind. Let's jump to...
What are we jumping to? Okay, so what are we jumping to?
So our first episode. So we all right. So we figured out we wanted to do a podcast. We figured out we wanted to do the show. We put all the domains. We did all the things. We got all the handles and everything together.
Yeah.
Now it's the first episode, which was a saga. Let's talk about how did we get to whopping all
of your headphones.
All over your headphones.
Whopping all of your headphones.
What a moment. So first of all, at this point we're still we're recording separately. So she's at her house and I'm at my apartment too, and we're like just we have
doing the Zoom thing.
And that honestly was a blessing in disguise, I think, to be able to start out on Zoom and not have to have that extra logistics of coordination and where we're going to go and blah, blah. But so we started out on Zoom.
Yeah.
And we knew at the very beginning, we were like, man, we want to incorporate entertainment somehow. We want to
that was always our number one.
Always our number one. We love entertainment. We love pop culture. How can we just and we love just social commentary. So how can we just include all of that and our personalities in it? And we were like, oh my gosh, WAP just came out at that point.
Yeah.
It was a whole moment.
It was the perfect time.
It was the perfect time. Why was WAP the perfect timing? Who knows? but it really was. And so we had different backdrops. I'm going to say, because I hate it to this day. It's like literally, Ev had this backdrop. I had a backdrop like this too. No, I think it was after I saw yours.
Then you were like,
I need to ordering it.
Yeah, you wanted it to match.
Because I had this red backdrop.
Which I didn't think looked that bad. She was just hating on it so hard.
I hate it to this day. So if you go back to the episode, you'll see. I had a red backdrop, and I had my blonde little weave going on, and so it gave me ketchup mustard, and I was just like, I can't do this.
She was over
I can't do this.
Yeah.
I can't do this. But anyway, so we were thinking of the first episode, and we just started talking. Like, we just literally were, I don't think we had a format, but I don't think we...
most fun episodes, because it was literally, we did have a format.
Oh, we did.
We did do our outlines, because, that's how, we would do it at AfterBuzz. Mm-hmm. So we did have the outline and whatever, but it was so great, because it was topical, and then we would just give our opinions on, whatever was going on.
Everything.
And, she has always something to say, and, I vibe off her, and I always have something to say about whatever's going on. So, the first episode just genuinely was, our personalities, full to the fullest. It was just so pure and fun and not thinking too hard about anything. It was just, it was such a good time.
And at first, it was truly gonna, no, we always thought about guests, but really it was it was just us for entertainment. I think it was an hour and a half. Let's just say an hour long episode. We talked about perhaps
I think they were a little less. I think they were 45.
45? That's solid. That's solid. So we did that. And and we had a whole section too where we were gotta be entertained, where we talked about some of the latest shows and movies that we were into or wanted to watch at that moment. Just Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, we talked about them for sure with WAP, and a bunch of different things that we thought were happening that we thought were cool, within the entertainment space.
And at the moment, that's still the highest viewed episode.
Is it really?
Yeah, but I really think, too, it's the hype of, people seeing that you're doing something new.
Yes.
And exciting, and they want to check it out and see what you're doing, and I made my friends watch it twice.
Totally.
I went over to my friend Natalie's house, and we watched it, on her TV, on YouTube,
so
and I was
fun.
isn't this the coolest thing ever? I was, just so excited. I was isn't this so fun? So her and I watched it together, and then our friend Junior came over. I've known them since 4th grade. Her Junior came over, and so then I made them watch it again. So those are 3, and then I was watching it by myself.
I definitely watched it.
I was definitely responsible for 5 or 6 of the views.
Crazy. And that was when our social kind of started, because I remember we had the video that came out, we had the logo come, so many different moments that were oh my god, this is something new, exciting, let's watch it. So that was our first episode.
No, that was really funny too, because
the behind the scenes of all that.
Oh my god, so we were let's record on Sundays, and which is still our thing, and we recorded the trailer at 9 p.m. Okay, I don't know why we picked that time. I don't know what was happening during the day. But we were whatever. So 9 p.m. was the time. And so we recorded the trailer, and we did our little back and forth lines, and we were oh my god, this is so great, we're so excited. And then I was getting ready to hang up with her, and I was wait, Akilah, we still have to do
the actual episode.
We didn't even do the first. That was just the trailer. We still have the first episode to drop tomorrow. Hello.
Because at first we were Mondays. That's when we got to do it. Start of the week, get them going.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. You know why it went back, I think, to 9 p.m.? Well, part of the reason, because we were even trying to do it the week before, get it out.
Of
even
course,
earlier.
We're always trying to rush things.
Right. We're trying to run before we walk all the time.
Always.
All the time.
I haven't said that to you in a while. Oh my god. I love it. Bring it back. I love it.
So Yeah, so at first it was going to be a thing where I think the week or so before, and because we had the graphics, like I said, we had our logo, all that kind of stuff, and then I don't know what happened where we were finally like, you know what, we need a break. We need a breath. Like, let's...
I forgot what happened too.
But something happened why, and then I think that's what was the energy where we're like, okay, it's 9 p.m., but we need to have it. If we don't do this, then it's next week.
Yeah.
And
so then we...
back even more.
Which we didn't want to do.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so we both stayed... She was on Zoom with me till like 4:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
We were editing. She was doing the background, like creating the backdrop.
Yes.
I was on YouTube University trying to figure out how to like crop like a video so that I wouldn't have the black lines on Zoom.
From Zoom.
And like put a border on it. Like I was literally...
figuring all that out. Because it seemed so easy at first. We're like, okay, people have a little backdrop and it just works. But the creative backdrop that folks create via Canva, shout out to them because Canva has been a lifesaver.
Amen.
This past year. But yeah, all of that we were figuring out within that first night. And it's like we had conversations with people who have done this before, but it just seemed so... Okay, great. You just plug and play and make it happen, and then it's not until you try it.
Yeah, and like we just weren't prepared to like what
color schemes we wanted.
Oh, that was another thing.
Trying to like
that's always a thing with us. Trying to figure out colors,
the aesthetics of it all.
Yeah, we ended up figuring it out, and it looked great. But the first we were like, do we want this? Do we want that? What about this? Pink, yellow. Like, it was just a mess.
And then we just put it all together.
But we figured it out and launched it. At 5, like I don't even think I slept that night.
No,
like,
but we were so excited. Oh my God, we got it.
Running on adrenaline, and then the next day we both had work. So it wasn't like I went to sleep or had, I still had a full day of work for real. So yeah, that was what a time to be alive.
What a time, and that was just the first episode with us. Then the next week, which we at least somewhat scheduled, in advance. We had Allison scheduled in advance, but forever, shout out to Allison because it's one thing.
Allison Davis.
Allison Davis.
She's a writer
for David Makes Man on OWN TV.
Yeah.
Shout out to her because it's one thing for us to, we're trying this out and we're doing it. But then a guest, I'm always thinking like their reputation, their whatever, like for them to just trust.
She just literally
and was just like, hey.
I asked her and she was like, yeah, no problem. And it was no fuss. Like it was just so easy.
Nothing.
She was so easygoing. One of the best guests. She had just great positive things to say, and she has accomplished so many different things and projects, writing and producing. She was just the most amazing first guest.
Yes, and so we had her on, and we, again, it was via Zoom, and so the three of us, and it's one of those things too where it helped us also like fine tune our communication outwards. So if you're a guest or want to be a guest, you'll know we have a structure how we send out our information now to guests, what we expect and what we share with them, so that they are aware it's going to be on video, it's going to be audio. Like we need,
and we had to make those mistakes to figure that out. Like Allison wasn't like the only because I think she was like, oh, it's on video. And we were like, oh wait, yeah. Like, like maybe we didn't make it clear enough. That, like it was going to be on video on YouTube. And then there was another guest where he didn't. There was miscommunication with what we were producing like afterwards after the episode was over.
Oh, right.
And then they were like, oh well, I didn't agree to that. And we were like, oh. So at that point it was like, okay, we need to have like terms and conditions.
Yes.
Like, we need people to agree to these types of things that we're planning on doing. So they know up front. So there wouldn't be any more of those issues. So we learned along the way.
And it was helpful because then it's like it's a business side of this media thing, and it's not just a business side when you're like crazy successful and things happen. Like even how you deal with everyone on the day-to-day, like it's a level of relationships and it's a level of business too. So that was helpful. And then we just kind of kept it going for that whole season. So we had, like I said, the chatting entertainment, chatting pop culture, and then if we had a guest in, and we were really at that point, creators to us was entertainment, was folks within the media and entertainment business.
That was the whole idea behind it, was like talking to the producers, the showrunners, the writers, the singers, executives, that were behind the scenes, like people that aren't necessarily in front of the camera at all, but they're the ones kind of like pushing
the content out there,
or like creating the content. So that was really going to be the thing within the entertainment space, but we quickly realized that we just didn't have the connections or didn't plan it out well enough to even...
And somewhat the connections too, or planning, but also like, we were like, a lot of these folks' stories are, you're obviously different and whatever, but like, at the end of the day, a lot of the stories and the pivotal moments are very similar to each other. How can we have something that we're like, and it kind of helped us expand like, the idea of creativity should be expanded. It's not just folks who are literally...
You know what else really helped us though? Like, to bring it up, it's a sore spot for us.
Oh my gosh.
This really was a turning point in creating season 2.
Yeah.
Akilah had a connection and was like, oh, this person works at a network and they're a producer and let's send them the podcast. Like, we're on episode 11.
Probably episode 11. I'm
Okay.
like, you know what? We gotta... Oh, well, first, not even to send it... First, I reached out just to be like,
Right.
this is a dope show. Like, I didn't say this, but like, in more or less, this is the essence. Like, oh my gosh, this is this amazing show. It happens to be hosted by me and my co-host. And, you know... check it out, because I think this could be something that could be on a network. Like, we could be on screen. Pretty much.
Right? So then the person gave her an assignment to say, you need a pitch deck and a sizzle reel.
Yes.
So in 1 week.
In 1 week? Was it a week?
1 week.
It was literally less than a week.
It was we were on the phone every day for like 5.
For 4 or 5, because literally it was a conversation at the beginning of the week on Monday, and then like turn it in before Friday. I turned it in on Thursday because I was like, I want Friday to be a reminder email if we need to send something. You just set something up.
So we were literally on the phone for days.
I didn't even, because I was like, okay, you need a pitch deck, you need a sizzle reel. I was like, hey, if you need this, we got it. Don't worry. So I just went a few days,
which was crazy. So
we had nothing.
We had zero. We had nothing at all.
Nothing.
So she made the pitch deck. I'm working on the sizzle reel. And we're on the phone the whole time, like, communicating, what about this, what about that, da, da, da. Like, do you like this clip? So that was teamwork. We did get it done.
Yeah.
But
and
the
looked beautiful.
It looked,
and it's the sizzle reel. The pitch deck looks beautiful. The sizzle reel, you guys is still on our YouTube. Just so, like, a little reminder for us too. But
so that person kind of, after, I think it was like a week or 2.
No, not even 3 weeks. Literally after that week, that following week, set up a meeting. It got moved, I think, 1 or 2 times, but it was within a week and a half. We were able to, then I followed up with him and we were able to speak to this person and, ran through the pitch deck, obviously saw the sizzle reel, loved what it looked like and what it was, but the major advice there, not even advice really, we took it as advice because it was, but
we took it as criticism,
it was criticism.
Sad about it.
we were sad for a moment, but it was what I'm trying to get the exact
basically
wording.
It was like, you guys are, what's unique about this?
Yes.
What's exciting about this podcast? What's new? What's interesting? What's different? Like, I'm not seeing anything different here.
It's like,
and we were both like, clutch the pearls. No, you didn't just insult.
No, what's different about the Black Creators Club? Not that.
So
no,
we were both like, oh my God, what the heck does that mean? And
Yeah.
I was super offended for like 3 or 4 days, like super. And then I came to the realization, I was like, you know what? Maybe he's right. Maybe he's right. Maybe
there's something here.
What is different about us? Like, if we're talking about the same stuff that everyone else is talking about, and we're only 1 week, we're doing it weekly.
And I think we came to the realization, like, okay, we're doing pop culture, entertainment news. When are we ever, never say never, but at this moment, we are not in the position where people are giving us tips like they would give a TMZ, or they would give
a Shade Room.
You know what I mean? It's not that situation. We're getting that information from these sources or from our own, just looking through e-news, whatever it might be. But at that point, after a week, it's kind of like, it's old news.
And unless something happened that day or 2 days before where it became like a topical situation, it was just kind of like, okay, well, we're discussing old stuff. Like, we're just giving opinions on top of 10 other million opinions.
And people who are already doing it. And not to say because folks are doing it, you shouldn't, but it's a level of, well, what is going to make you unique? What is going to make you stand out?
So it definitely gave us
that,
that space and that time to reflect, which thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
That was great.
To then figure out like what, so we pivoted. So then that's how we came with season 2, and we just hit the ground running with like interviews, weekly basis. And, like, that's kind of how we restructured.
Expanding the creativity, like, talking about... And we were still... If you see that first season, the first episode in season 2, I think we were wearing our I Am a Creator shirts. So, if you go back to that episode...
Those were transitional episodes.
Yeah. Those are transitional episodes. If you go back to that... You hear our reason there, too, which is, like, very similar to what we're saying, too. But now we're giving you more of the behind the scenes, which helped us propel. So, like, literally, I think the message there is just get your idea out there and start talking to folks. You don't have to listen to every single person if you don't want to. But a lot of times, that criticism is valid and something to take into consideration. But at that point, the transitional episodes were, like, still talking about, like, pop culture and entertainment, but trying to figure out how can we bring us into something that we know we need to transition a little bit more in. So then it comes to later, where now we're focusing a lot on, like, creativity. Folks creating their own wealth. Black people just doing amazing things and starting amazing things for themselves and their communities. So like kind of we transitioned to that in season 2, but so much more to say on what season 3 may bring. But on top of transitioning on a kind of topical, conceptual way, we also finally moved into the studio. Ev, let's talk a little bit more about how this home studio came to be.
Yeah, so super grateful that my dad, he's like into music. He had a band back in the day, had music playing on the radio, whatever. So this is like his passion. So he turned the like 4-car garage into like a 2-car garage and used the back half and like built a studio. So he has like a full on space, like soundboards and everything in one area, and like it's a full on studio. So that's where we were lucky enough and blessed enough to have the space to come and record. And my dad's very open to me being a creative person and encourages that. So he was like, of course, whatever you need, you got it, no problem.
Love that. Because, I mean, it worked out. Like, it's crazy how this wasn't the get-go. Like, but I think we needed a moment of just, like...
Well, it was COVID.
Figuring it out.
Like,
yeah.
We were like, oh, no, we're in person. This, like, we were just more concerned about that than anything else. So, I mean, this always could have been a safe space, but... You know, at the time, it was
a lot going on.
Yeah, it was a lot going on.
A lot going on. Speaking of a lot, too, we realized that so much was going on. So we had so many plans, so many things we wanted to do, so many moving parts. Like I said, we literally changed the whole concept of the show. And we were like, you know what? We need a retreat. We need to figure out ourselves and just figure out what the Black Creators Club is. And not even just figure it out, because we just had so many moving parts that we needed to do. We wanted from literally the first time we started, oh my gosh, merch, like, you know, tours, like figuring out, like talking about all these kind of things. Live events. And so we had our retreat, and we did it at the top of the year. I think it was like January. Yeah, the top of the year. We were calling, at first we were thinking, oh, should we do it at Palm Springs was actually at the...
Yeah, we always have big ideas.
Big ideas, which I love, but it's, man.
Yeah, so we were definitely going to do a Palm Springs photo shoot, which I thought would have been a fire, but the problem was, it was like finding a photographer, and like finding, and then it was like, if they come with us, like, are we going to have to pay for their travel? Like, it was too much. So we were like, you know what, we're just going to do locally in LA.
Local LA. We got this, the cutest hotel that we found via Airbnb, but it was also, you know, a boutique hotel, the Hoxton.
Which I love a good boutique hotel. Yes. Those are like my favorite to stay at. They're just so cute and like
they get
curated.
They get it. And this place was super curated. We love Aiden. We always tell him
he was the front desk guy. We love him.
Our front desk guy.
And the soap in the bathroom. The service was great. Again, it was COVID, so they weren't doing like housekeeping and stuff, but we were calling every 5 minutes. Can we have a broom? Can we have a this? Can we have a that? And they were always so accommodating. But the soaps in there, you guys, listen. I'm always about a scent. I'm always so good. Like, I love a good scent. And so the body wash and stuff in there, it has like, I guess that you could say it had like more of like a manly smell to it, like a stronger like sandalwood or like earthy tones, and it's always my vibe.
It was it.
And I was like, I'm almost tempted to like DM Aiden and be like, hey, can you like ship me a box of
he just might
hotel soap
that
because I really liked it.
It was hilarious. But you know what else was crazy about that retreat? We had plans for every day, what we're going to do. Now, it was only just about, not just about pictures and videos, but really just about like literally, all right, we're saying we want to do this social media thing. How are we going to really build it? How do we execute a lot of our tactical and business ideas?
So it was definitely
agenda heavy retreat. I know we both posted reels about it on our pages, our individual pages, and I think probably on the Black Creators Clubs too. But what was even crazy was that it rained. It rained in LA the first, I think, day or two.
Yeah, it was
Saturday, and so we had to push
supposed
things
to have
around.
like our photo shoot that day because we needed like a brand photo shoot. We were like launching our website, so we needed photos for the website, and of course it rained, so I'm really grateful that we did it. It stopped by the time that we were supposed to technically have it, but we were like, okay, we're just gonna move it because we want sun. So we moved it to the next day. Thank God the sun was out. Okay, and thank God our photographer. Shout out to Matthew.
Yes.
was flexible enough to be able to accommodate that. And so anyways, the photos came out great. That is our intro video.
Yeah, the intro video, if you check it out.
He did a great job.
Great job with some of us just walking around. Speaking of great jobs, like, we got to shout out, like, you know, the unofficial and somewhat official team that, or people that we've had along the way, like, that just really just helped out. Shout out to, again, like, our original photographer. We shout out Desiree. Shout out to our graphic designer. And then also we had, you know, obviously Matthew, who helped us with the photos and the intro video. We have a gem, which is one of my besties, Rachel, who's been super just great helpful in terms of, like, you know, PR. Just everything, PR, branding. Yeah. So she's actually studying, getting her graduate degree in, like, kind of media communications, all of that. And so literally just talking to her about our idea and what I, you know, would hope to do with this and how we should build this. She was like, oh, you know what? Like, this will be, I actually have to do something for my grad project, pretty much like do a capstone type project. And so we talked about it, and she was like, yes, you know, she'll do the Black Creators Club as her capstone project. And that was heaven sent, because it was able to just have a third party, a third opinion.
Yeah, every time we don't agree, I'm like, call Rachel. Like, exactly. Ask Rachel what she would do.
Yes. And even for her project, because this is her, you know, graduate level studies, so she's, like, literally taking it, like, seriously and beyond. So she's come to LA like 1 or 2 times. She lives in New York. Come to LA 1 or 2 times for not only just to hang out, but also to work on Black Creators Club stuff with us. So shout out to her. We've also had Brittany, who's also someone from New York, who I knew her because when a previous podcast that I did, I had her as a guest, and she was just always fun. And I just remember her, like, being, like, a great writer and being someone that I thought would, you know, really blow up in what she wants to do when it comes to, like, because she does, like, curvy fashion and things like that nature. And I was like, you know what, someone cool that's up and coming too and wants to do her thing. So she's helped us write a couple articles, if you've seen at the very beginning, us having
our blog posts are definitely,
our blog posts.
They've kind of I don't know, disappeared a little bit, but we're gonna bring them back. It's just, we're 2 people. We can only do so much.
And we have to prioritize after a while. It's like, you know, let's prioritize what are things that are moving our business forward. Yeah. And so, but I mean, it's great to just have at least those few articles on our news accredited site. And so Brittany's been helping with doing that on the back end. Serenity girl, we got to shout her out too. Serenity's actually reached out to us. And so it kind of showcases, like, again, like, if you want to join this team, if you feel like, you know, what we're building is something that resonates with you on some capacity, reach out. And so Serenity has reached out. She just graduated from college, and she's just helping us a ton when it comes to social media and graphic design, because that's what she studied. And I'm like, oh, beautiful. So she's still here, still doing her thing, and so shout out to her as well.
Yeah, she's our social media manager.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Yeah, and then the other shout out is to Brian and his wife Chelsea. He's my godbrother, and that's his wife, and so yeah, they helped us with the website. So if you guys, you know, well, I don't know. They do the website design, but that's not their full-time thing. Yeah. So I don't know. But what they want me to shout it out to do, it's for you to reach out, but they definitely help with so many elements of the website.
The website literally helped with the way, and Brian with his beats, like Excel beat. We gotta shout out that.
He also created our intro song. So, which he was probably hating me during the process. Because again, and her too, because we were both like, she's like, I needed a little bit more upbeat. I'm like, okay, Brian, a little bit more this. And then she's like, what? A little bit more that. Okay. And he was like, just send me a song that you like, and then I can make something similar. And I was like, okay, well, like, we just don't know what we like until we hear what we like. I don't know what to tell you. And so it was just a whole lot of back and forth. So we finally got it together.
So, and this is the creative process, because again, once you have it, you don't want to change it every month. Like, you want a consistent situation. And so just get it right the first time, or try your best to, you know, there are changes that will definitely happen. So yeah, that's kind of been the majority of this year. The last couple things, like, was the business too. Like, again, like, we officially are LLC'd out.
Black Creators Club Media LLC, baby.
There it is. Just check it out. We are official when it comes to that, and that means we are doing this for real, and that means
we're invested.
We're
married to the game at this point.
Married to the game.
We're married.
I know, girl. When is the ceremony?
Married.
So we did that, and we low-key are married because we got a bank account too.
I'm saying, we are married
too. And that's gonna be great when it comes to, again, like, if you've seen our Patreon, like, when it comes to just helping develop the show and create it and just supporting us with what we're doing. For those in New York, the lowest subscription is less than a Metro card, honey. And for those out here in LA or anywhere in between, you know that is less than a pint of gas. So consider it. We'll put it in the description as well. The Patreon, as well as we are, we will be doing merch. We will be
finally. We've been saying
merch.
that forever, but we actually are in the process of launching, doing pre-orders and putting it on the website and everything. So there's just a few little extra steps to do, and then hopefully by this fall you guys will be able to order some merch.
You'll be able to order it. So honestly, in the meantime, you do have access to our newsletter. Make sure to sign up, because if you do, you'll get first priority when it comes to merch. If you sign up to our Patreon, we'll definitely let you know too, and depending on the tier, you may get a little discount when it comes to the merch. So and it's fire. Like I said, we started talking about it to fellow creators who we had on the show, and folks are interested, and so so that's been this year. Did I miss anything?
No.
That's been no, that's been the year. So guys, as you've seen, we work really hard to do this show, and so the best way you can repay us is just to share the show with a friend, subscribe to our YouTube page, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Everything is at the Black Creators Club. Leave a review, comment, do all the things, just engage, because we definitely value your opinions. This is a community we're building, and if you wanna be a guest or just have questions, comments, you can also contact us via email at theblackcreatorsclub@gmail.com.
Boom, baby.
There it is. Okay, so we play games with the guests. Let's do a quick rapid fire. It doesn't have to be super detailed, but a quick recap. So the first question, I'll ask a few questions and just, tell us what you think. So the first thing is your most memorable moment.
Okay, most memorable moment was actually recording Allison Davis's episode, because I was so she hadn't responded back to our emails yet, and I went that weekend to my gosh, what national park would I go to? Wasn't Big Bear.
Were you at Joshua Tree? No.
It wasn't at Joshua Tree. Oh my gosh, where was it?
I know where you, yes, I remember that.
June Lake. So if you guys know where that is. So I went to June Lake, and literally I'm emailing, I think, whenever she emailed us, it was during that weekend, and she confirmed that she would be doing the podcast, that episode on that Sunday. And so I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I have to drive back home, do the whole thing, right? So I told my friend that I was with, I was like, girl, we gotta go. I have something to do at X time. So we literally drove back, and when I tell you, I had minutes between arriving home and starting the interview. I mean, minutes were so my hair was in 2 braids on the vacation, but in the episode you'll see I put my wig on over it. I literally only had time to put the wig on, put a shirt on, sit down, press play.
Go. Right.
That was it. That was literally exactly how I came into the interview. So it was me trying to prepare questions and do all the things on my way back home. It was just a hot mess, but it worked out.
That was a lot, but it did work out. It did. For me, there are a ton of memorable moments. I'll just name a quick one, probably I think just, again, the back end. I think when we were at first trying to set up the studio, we literally oh my gosh, we'll do behind the scenes. So we went to Michael's, and I had a little recording, and we were literally recording ourselves buying different things in Michael's for us to set up a studio, and then that night coming over and literally trying to put it all together, and this is the result of all the flowers and things that we tried to do a whole background for, and we were no, it's not gonna work.
Was so terrible.
It was a lot going on that night.
I blame myself. I had this whole idea that I was let's do, because someone else, this florist, had spray paint and this beautiful baby breath and all the things, and I was oh, that's so cute, and I showed her, she loved it, and we tried it, and it didn't work, girl. It didn't work. It was a hot mess. There was paint all in the garage. I had been spray painting for days. It was just,
everything was going on. It was a reminder, though.
Project.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Just keep it simple.
That's why we still have the same background.
That's why, and it works. That's it.
And that's it.
Your most memorable guest.
My most memorable guest had to be Dr. Donna. I just remember it was February, Valentine's Day. We really wanted a sex therapist. We were trying to figure out how to make it topical, how to make it fun, how to make it cool. And we were just on Instagram, searching sex therapists, and she came up. And so we were let's try it. So we emailed her, and there was just we were on a time crunch that we just didn't have time to do the whole waiting response back and forth situation. So anyways, when we finally did get her on the show, it wasn't for the Valentine's Day episode, but it was for something else. She just killed it.
Yes.
Knocked it out of the park with just the topics, the discussion, her passion for what she does on a daily basis, which is sex therapy and colorism and how that relates, and sexuality and all of the things. You guys, that episode was freaking amazing. So I just remember being in awe, oh my God, wow, we were really getting deep. I don't think we had planned to go that deep, but she took it all the way there, and we were so grateful.
Yeah, it was great. And it was 8 a.m. I think when we,
oh my God.
When we booked, so it was one of those things where we were like, all right, and it was a work day, I think, too, and so we were like, okay, we got to do it.
We had to do what we got to do.
Yeah, that was it.
We try not to stress ourselves out. Yeah, for sure.
Literally, for me, I mean, and this is like, we had a ton of great guests, so, and you've seen it if you've been listening to the show. So for me, one of many, I guess, would be Sister Fixers, that you'll know them for their HGTV show that's coming out this fall, Courtney and Leslie. And it was a mixture of, yes, they had amazing things to say about the Sister Fixers and what they're trying to do and them trying to build their brand when it comes to
Black
architectural design and,
space,
Black designers in the space and in television. But I love them because they literally were mirrors of us.
Oh
or we were mirrors of them.
1000%.
I guess in some capacity. It was literally
I was
so
Courtney,
much.
She's Leslie.
Yes, it was.
Sure.
It was so much fun. It was just a fun conversation, and I think just a reminder of like, no, we're doing this, yes, for you guys to have, just to help you guys like really learn what you need to learn and get what you need to get from these things. But it's also great to just know that we're building this community that, folks that we just like really love.
And then after that, we were going to my birthday party. That was there at the house.
Yes.
So I'm telling, like, we're stacked. We're always doing the most.
I forgot.
Yeah, we're always doing the most.
It's a lot. Okay, and the last thing, I guess, our favorite one-on-one episode. So we know we interview guests, but we also, have our one-on-one stuff. So
I'm gonna say the East Coast versus West Coast episode. Where basically we just kind of talked about how we grew up. She's from the Bronx. I'm from Burbank. Bronx, New York, and Burbank, California. And so I love that episode, and the reason why is because I learned so much about her.
It's true.
I learned so much about her in that episode, and what she ate, and how she grew up, and like Chinese food actually isn't Chinese food, it's chicken wings. Like, who would have done that? Like, who would have done that? And I always try to be from New York, so every time I'm around her, I'm like, grow up in New York.
And after that, she planned that trip. We were like, no, I have to go to New York.
That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm like, since I'm trying to be honorarily from New York, I think knowing the most about her and her life, how she grew up, I can relate now. I'm trying to relate. I'm trying to relate.
Oh my God, that was a fun one. Let's see. I think so one of it wasn't our one-on-ones as we do now in season 2, but like from season 1, we were literally almost always one-on-one there too. And I love the is monogamy overrated conversation. Oh God, yeah. That was post I forget their dead ass podcast. That was it. They had a clip that went viral about like, should we be in a monogamous relationship? Is it overrated or not? And I love that episode because we were usually we're so in sync with a lot of different things, but I think that was an episode where we literally had different opinions. And I like that because it was kind of fun and it was about relationships and all this kind of stuff and it was after, again, in terms of us being stacked, after we did a planned photo shoot at the Beverly Hills Hotel. So literally that day was
what is wrong with us? Why do we keep doing that to ourselves? That was honestly the day was so tired.
So tired.
I thought I had energy, and then once we got there, I was like, ugh.
Yes, like, and then we got to do it literally, day. And so it was a great episode though too. So definitely check that out. But that was a lot.
We be doing a lot
going on. Guys, what a great recap!
Yeah, so fun. Thank you guys so much for joining us on our year journey. We're so excited for year 2. We have so many bigger and better things coming up, planning that we're doing, and we are so excited to take you guys along with that journey. So thank you so much for sticking with us, and hopefully we get new people, you tell more people, get the people, we need all the people.
Yes. Okay, so you can find me chatting media and life motivation, all with a dash of style, at Akilah Friends.
Yes, and you can find me chatting everything Black owned business, and of course the Black Creators Club at Eboné Chapman 12 on Instagram.
Yes, and keep up with the Black Creators Club again at the Black Creators Club on all platforms. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, always abide by your ABCs.
Always be creating. Bye, guys.